the honor you get passively versus the honor you get proactively, albeit in a rather passive way, by successfully defending against AI attacks. Now, before your eyes glaze over with another of my spreadsheets, I'm not going to get too much into the details of the spreadsheet. This is sort of, I'm going to give a sort of a preamble here. What I'm looking at is it better to leave AI castles in your parish providing you can successfully defend against their attacks? And, basically, what are the pros and cons of this? What are the ins and outs? What are the best circumstances which castles should you leave in? Which ones should you make sure you remove? Now, all these numbers were taken from a world where I am a crown prince with 39 villages, and all these attacks were against top tier villages. Now, I've noticed that at least enemy attacks from siege camps, if your village is not top tier, you will not get top honor for defending. Now, I'm not sure there is a correlation, but just to make sure, we have as little variance in the numbers as possible. Try to control those variables. I made sure every village that I used the numbers from in this spreadsheet was a top tier village, and they're all taken from the same world where I'm a crown prince. So let's get to it. Now, basically, you can see here on this picture of a spreadsheet that I went with the four AIs. You can't prevent attacks from the enemy siege camp, so I just omitted that entirely because it is sort of beyond your control unless you ID, and also it doesn't reduce your popularity, so I don't know why I would cover that at all. However, the wolf lairs and the bandit camps also reduce your popularity but don't attack you, so those should be removed because they are reducing the amount of passive honor you generate per day without actually providing anything that could make up for it. So in the top bracket, we have this was just sort of a starting point for me. I took the basic honor multiplier from Hale's honor setup, which basically maxed out deco honor or decoration honor. It isn't important. It was basically a starting point for me. However, here we go. The second one, the orange bar. Now this is full passive honor setup with all religious buildings factored in and max arts, as well as Hale's max decoration setup. And I ended up with a honor multiplier of 268.25. In the second little column here, I have the popularity that you will be multiplying that honor multiplier by. Now the popularity number will change depending upon which castle is in your parish, which AI castle is in your parish. We start out with a base of 100 popularity. This is just to simplify things. And so right here at the bottom in the green colored column, row, it's a row. We basically have the base number that we're basing all these other numbers off of. So normally, without any AI castles in the parish in ages 1 to 2, I would be making 26,825 honor per day for that village. Then once the AI castles start moving in, we have the rat, it drops down to 24, with the snake it's 21, the pig it's 20, and the wolf it's 18. However, the attacks from these AIs all generate more honor than what you'd be losing. So in the far right column, I put down the numbers for how much passive honor you will be losing if these AI castles exist in your parish. For the wolf, of course, it's the most, a whopping 8,584. For the pig, it's 6,706, and the snake and rat, 4,828 and 2,682 respectively. These AIs will throw attacks against you, and if you successfully defend, you will be making more honor than you will have lost passively. Now this requires that your castles are fully built, and you are willing to incur losses to goods or even buildings if your castles aren't sufficient enough to hold back these attacks. But providing that you do hold them back, or diplomacy is another important part. If you had 100% diplomacy, you had diplomacy cards in play, you would definitely be making out better here by leaving those castles in your parish. However, things change for the third age and any ages after that. Now, while AI attacks, the honor wasn't increased for them. The honor was increased for passive honor generation. So instead of having only 268.25 honor multiplier with all religious buildings, max arts, and max decoration, we instead of have 884. So I multiplied that all against the same popularity numbers for the same castles, and I compared all the numbers here, the same inside, and I will be including a link to this image in the description of this video, so you can go and check it out for yourself, so I don't have to read everything to you. And I found out that for the rat, you will be losing 8,840 per day, while only gaining 3,200. And it pretty much is all the same. The wolf, you will be actually making more, but the other three, you will be definitely losing honor. However, the thing is, how many times does the AI attack you per day? I don't think there is a set number, but oftentimes you'll be attacked twice per day by the AI, in which case you'll still come out ahead, even in the third age, fourth age, fifth age, and whatever ages Firefly comes up with after that. There's currently nothing. The fifth age is currently the furthest age that we've got to, but it's likely to continue on. Now, one thing I did notice is that the Wolf Castle wasn't all that consistent, even in the World 5, 5th Age, me being a Crown Prince, all top tier villages. Not all the attacks from the Wolf Castle yielded the same amount of honor, even when successfully defended against, even when it was just basic diplomacy stopping it. There was divergence between certain attacks, and I don't know how to control that number. I mean, it could be based off of your personal castle, but I somewhat doubt that, as all my villages are essentially the same castle, just small changes. So I don't think it would justify that big change of a number. So instead, I'm proposing that different Wolf Castle sizes will yield different amounts, or will, upon successfully defending against, will yield different amounts of honor. So for the strongest AI castle, we probably have it yielding 37,500 honor, whereas smaller ones will only yield in the 20s. So this number here, especially for the wolf, the 37,000, that one may not be entirely typical. It may be for the very strongest castle defending the strongest wolf castle and successfully defending against it. If you have any insight into this matter, I would love to hear from you in the comments. This was something I threw together last night, so I was kind of tired at the time, and I may have overlooked something. But from my perspective, you are almost always better off leaving the AI castle in your parish if you can defend against its attacks. If you can be relatively 100% sure that you are going to successfully defend against any attack the AI sends at you, you are going to be doing better off keeping the AI castle in your village, believe it or not, just based off of passive popularity. If you're looking to make more honor, removing the castle within your honor range is always going to be even better, you know, if you have the troops for that, because not only will you get your passive honor back, but you'll also be making the honor based off of removing the castle, the honor you get from attacking that castle. So you'll be making out double the. But if you're not, that's what I'm sort of going for here. The passive honor you could be making from the AI castles. Do you choose for passive popularity honor generation, or do you choose for sort of passive honor you get from defending against AI attacks? And in my numbers here, it comes out better if you leave the AIs in your village, if you're in your parish, unless you're going to remove them yourself, in which case then of course you'd be making more honor. Now the one thing I would like to note here is, myself personally, I prefer to leave all but the wolf castle in my parishes. The pig, the snake, and the rat, their attacks are all significant, well, they're all pretty insignificant once you have a fully built village. However, the wolf uses catapults, which means that they'll be frequently damaging your walls, and if you do not check on that world frequently enough, you could easily put yourself in a situation where you're losing most of the attacks against the wolf, especially ransacks. That means against fully built villages, you will be continually eroding the number of buildings that are in them because you're letting the wolf ransack them. So personally, I do not recommend you leave the wolf in your parish if you can avoid it, even for the passive generation, the passive honor that you'll get from the wolf attacking you successfully. Well, attacking and you defending successfully. But it's all up to you. And this is basically, I thought it was an interesting subject because, you know, everybody's always so interested in removing AI castles, aren't they? You know, inactive players don't remove AI castles, active players remove them. Well, yes they do. But you're not going to be coming out so bad by just leaving the AI castle in your village and successfully defending against its attacks. It's not that bad. Well, thank you for watching, and I understand this is probably not the most exciting of videos if you stayed through to the end. I hope to see you next time.
Stronghold Kingdoms. The battle has just begun.